Hey again, Scott Landis here, and what we're talking about this week is mindset, and what I want you to do is own your own mindset. You know, your mindset determines the quality of your relationship more than anything else that you can do. So if you learn to take 100% responsibility for where you're at in your mind and your emotional state, that will impact your relationship. It's not about your spouse. It's really about you. And obviously, if I'm talking to the husband, it's the same thing. It's 100% about you. And if I'm talking to the wife, it's 100% about you. So you have to take 100% responsibility for where you're at in your mindset and your emotional state. You can't blame that on them. Your partner is not responsible for your happiness. Hello, if you get that, that'll change everything. If your partner's responsible for your happiness, you know, it's a transactional. It's not about love. It's not about relationship. Your partner is not responsible for your happiness. You are. You have to take responsibility for your happiness. So don't make your partner responsible for your happiness. Practice individual emotional fitness. What does that mean? Mind your mind. Mind your mindset. You got to be thinking about, what are you focused on? What are the things that you're thinking about? Are you focused on how he or she isn't making you happy? Are you focused on how he or she isn't meeting your needs? And there's always a difference between what's happening and what you're making it mean. Whatever you think it means isn't necessarily the same as what's actually happening. So ask yourself, okay, I'm making this mean that she's not into me, or she doesn't love me, or she doesn't care about me at all. What else could it mean? What's actually happening? What is my evidence for that? And what else could that be? So thinking about what you're thinking about is emotional fitness, and letting yourself be responsible for your happiness or your sadness, whatever that is. But again, take 100% responsibility for where you're at. If you do that, it'll change everything. You can control what you're focused on. And we're asking for you to change your focus this week. And what have we been talking about? We've been talking about the dream marriage, your ideal marriage. If you can change your focus to stop focusing on your spouse and start focusing on your dream marriage, your ideal marriage, that's going to give you some leverage to be controlling what you're focused on. And again, what you're focused on is going to change what happens to your emotional state. So again, if you learn to take responsibility for your own emotions, that's key. So here's what you want to focus on. Focus on the dream marriage. That's where you're going. The ideal relationship is where you're going. That's your goal. Stay focused on what that is. That's the possibility. That's the hope. That's where we are going. And then who do you need to be to attract that ideal relationship? Because again, if it's 100% your responsibility, then it's all about you becoming what you need to attract, to what you need to do and what you need to be to attract that ideal relationship. For me, when I asked this question, I realized that Tanya needed me to step up in a few areas. She needed me to take more responsibility for the household. She needed me to take on some of the burden of the financial responsibility. She felt like all the financial responsibility was on her, and she felt all this pressure. And that was really killing her attraction towards me. That was really killing my ability to attract the relationship that I was looking for. And so I realized, okay, I need to step up in several areas and really give her a clear direction of where we're going and how I plan to make that happen, how we can make that happen. And I would say, hey, I know where we're going, and I'm going to get us there regardless of if you are on board or not. But I really appreciate if you would trust me, if you would come with me on this. But if you don't, that's fine. I understand. It's not about you. It's about me. I'm going to take responsibility and move us this direction. And I was focused on what I can do. And also, I realized that I wanted to be more attractive to her. I thought about what are the things that create attraction for her towards me. And I knew if she saw me working out and being committed to a fitness routine, she'd be attracted to that. So I really decided, well, not only for what I wanted to do to attract her, but for my own well-being, I realized, okay, I really want to step it up, and I got really committed to a fitness routine and working out, and that worked, and she became more attracted just based on my progress. And here's the thing: progress, not achievement, is what creates happiness. So if you're feeling down and you're feeling like discouraged about where things are at, again, focus on not that, focus on the dream marriage, that ideal relationship, where you're going. And once you start to see progress, even a little bit of progress is going to make you feel more fulfilled, more joy-filled, and more happy. And you're going to stop thinking about all those things that are bringing you down. Stop focusing on those that are not serving you. Focus on that ideal relationship, and progress towards that is going to create happiness. Now, does it happen overnight? Of course not, but it happens quicker than you think. And we're speaking from experience. When I started working on those things that I set in my mind, that those are the things that are going to create attraction between us and get us to where we want to go in our relationship, I started to see progress. And even though I didn't have I still don't have a six-pack, and I wasn't like all the way where her ideal body type that she would love to see came from, but she saw the progress in me, the commitment. Those are the things that create attraction. Those are the things that create happiness. Again, progress. Don't worry about getting it perfect. Don't worry about getting it done overnight. In fact, it's not even about achieving it. You want to it's like your North Star. It's your guiding light that keeps you focused on progress. So progress. And then, again, own yourself. You can't give away what you don't own. If you don't own yourself, you can't give that away to your spouse. So you got to own yourself. You got to take responsibility for where you're at. If you don't have control of your own state and your own emotion, somebody else does. Think about that. If you don't have control, somebody else does. You got to own yourself. You got to own your own mindset. If someone else can make you feel bad, people say that all the time, and it's easy to get into that trap. But if I say, you made me feel this way, I don't own myself. So if someone else can make you feel bad, you don't have control of yourself. So for example, if you're finding yourself in a depressed state, a state of depression or a state of suffering, some kind of suffering, here's a easy way out. And there's the saying that you can't suffer and be grateful at the same time. In other words, you can't be grateful and depressed. You can't be grateful and suffering at the same time. So what's a way to be grateful? Well, there's all sorts of things. I mean, we don't live in a third world country. Everyone in this country has something to be grateful for. I mean, come on, what is it? You don't even deserve your next heartbeat or next breath. So you can at least be grateful for, thank you God, that I have the ability to get up in the morning. Thank you that I have the ability to breathe and to give to my kids, to spend time with my family, to have a drink of clean water, whatever it is. What are the things you can be grateful for? And if you breathe, your body needs breath. Your body needs that nourishment of just oxygen. So if you're in a suffering state and you need a quick antidote, a quick way to get out of that, close your eyes and breathe and take a deep breath and do that for a few minutes. And as your eyes are closing and you're deep breathing, think about, what am I grateful for? Vision it. Go back to a time in your life where you were the most grateful. You were full of the most gratitude, and call that memory up in your mind and just visualize it and be in that moment. It will end your negative emotional state in that moment. And the more you can do that, just like exercising a muscle, you will learn to be grateful in a grateful state. Now, here's the thing. If we're talking about becoming the person that you need to be to attract that dream marriage, that's a part of it, right? Somebody who's grateful is going to be in that dream marriage. Somebody who's suffering all the time or dissatisfied or discontent all the time isn't going to attract that ideal relationship. So you got to own that. You got to take control of the state of your emotions and become that ideal relationship. If the ideal relationship, you picture yourself and your spouse happy all the time. If you have two people that are happy all the time, what kind of marriage are they going to have? A happy marriage, right? If you have one person at least or two people that's always in an emotional down state, you're going to have that kind of relationship, emotionally down. So again, work on emotional fitness. Mind your mind. Think about the decisions you make every moment. You're making decisions every moment about what you're focused on and what happened versus what you made it mean. Think about these things. So have a realistic viewpoint. See it how it is. Don't make it worse than it is. It's not where you want it right now, but it's not as bad as it could be. So see it how it is. See it better than it is, and then make it the way you see it. Go towards that goal. So tomorrow we're going to talk about a 90-day challenge that we use with our clients for marriage architects. What we use for our clients is a 90-day challenge for any couple who seems like, you know, they're at the edge of hopelessness and they're at the edge of, you know, I'm giving up on this. We always throw down a 90-day challenge and we say, here's what you can do. If you give us 90 days, we promise that you'll see results. So we'll talk about that tomorrow. So even though we're saying today, don't take 100% responsibility for where you're at. Tomorrow we're going to talk about do make it your responsibility to make them happy and meet their needs. So take 100% responsibility for yourself and 100% responsibility for where they're at. We're going to talk about that tomorrow. Thanks for listening. We'll see you then.